Welcome to the Authentic as Fuck podcast. My name is Sun. Uh, this is a show where we talk about marketing, branding, storytelling. I am a marketing and storytelling teacher. So today we're going to bring on a couple of entrepreneurs from Night Owl Nation who we're going to talk to about community building. So first up is Monica. Hey, Monica.
Hey,
Welcome. All right, so let's
thank you.
start
Thank
with
you for having me.
yeah, I can hear you. So let's start with the kind of introduction, your name, where you're from, and what you do.
Yeah, hi, I'm Monica. I'm from India and I'm a business mentor and a sales strategist who focuses on getting sales through the content or over social media. So, this is exactly what I help online service providers with. So, I help
Got it.
them get a sales strategy so that they can get clients for their business.
Got it. You do one-on-one coaching.
Yes, I do.
Got it. And what's your question today, or what are you struggling with?
Okay, the major thing is that I have recently shifted from Facebook to Instagram, and
Yeah,
my question is around building a strong community around whatever I'm doing.
got it. So what are you doing right now on Instagram?
On Instagram, I'm sharing my content in a way where I share my experience, I share the results that I'm producing. I'm sharing information that some of the people might need it,
Okay,
and most of the content is about like what sort of mistakes that are people making and how they can rectify it.
got it. And who's following you? Like, what kind of people are following you right now?
Mostly it is online service providers and coaches.
Okay. And like, what at what level? Like beginners, more experienced? Like, can you be a
I
little
would
bit more
say
specific?
intermediate, some people who have like few clients, like inconsistent clients. Some are making $2,000 a month, and some people they launch, but the launch is not that great, so they have like one or two clients.
Got it.
So it's not beginner, but there are people who already have clients, but they want more consistent clients.
Okay. So let's okay. Because you asked a very loaded question, right? How do I grow a community? That's like saying, how do I start a business? Right? That's
Right.
it's just as rough as that. And the thing is, I can't work with that, right? I need a more specific question. That's why I'm kind of digging here.
Okay.
um what okay. So how long have you been on Instagram and how many followers you have?
I have 500 followers, 530 followers,
Okay.
and
And how long have
I've
you been?
been active since 2 months now. My
Okay.
account is pretty old, but I'm active since 2 months.
And how often do you post?
I post 5 times a week, 4 to 5 times a week.
Okay. So consistently you're posting for 2 months. And how many followers did you have 2 months ago?
I guess 200 somewhere.
Okay. So you got 300 followers in the last two
Yeah,
months.
yeah.
So that's good. So it's working. So I mean, okay. So what is your specific question that you want to grow
So
faster?
the
Or
specific question is
yeah.
how I can in terms of uh, the message, like the message attracts people who can be part of my community. So the
Okay.
more specific thing is about sticking to one
Even that,
message.
let's break that question down a little bit. Because the first part is about messaging, right? Brand message. What is my
Yeah,
story? What's my messaging? And the
yeah.
second part is about how do I actually, even that second
Bring
part,
people
there's
in.
two parts in there. One, how do I grow a community? How do I get more followers?
Mhm,
Second,
mhm.
how do I make my community stronger so they're more engaged and they're more, a tighter community, right? So you got three
Yeah.
different questions here. Which one are you most curious about? Pick one.
Because right now I have people
All
who
of the above.
are talking to me in DMs. Like
Hmm.
I'm generally talking in DMs, but
Hmm.
they are not very active in on my posts. Like the engagement is not that great.
People you're talking to on DM are not engaging on your posts.
No, they're not.
Okay. Are you engaging with their post?
Yes, sometimes. Yes.
Okay. So you're like liking and commenting on their posts, but they don't like and comment on yours.
Yeah, because generally they are asking, like, whenever I am into stories, I'm asking some questions. So they come up, they ask
Mm.
the follow-up question. So this is
Right.
how I'm building up in
Right.
DMs.
Okay.
And my latest
You're
clients
doing
have
the
come.
right thing.
to- Oh, that sounds great.
Huh? You're doing the right thing. It's just that you've only been doing it for 2 months. Like,
Yeah,
do it for 2 years and come to talk to me and see if you have the same questions. Do you understand what I mean? Like
yeah.
that's what I can tell you. It took me 3 months to get 1,000 followers.
Hmm.
And then it took me 2 months to get 5,000 followers after that. And then it took me 1 month to get 10,000 followers. So the beginning is the grind, is the hardest part. And like
Yeah.
I went on a very fast trajectory. Most people don't even get, like I got to like 50,000 followers in 66 months. Like most people
Hmm.
don't get there. Do you understand what I mean? Most people's timeline are much more stretched. So most people have to put in content for a year to get to 1,000 followers, and then they have to put it for another year to get to 10,000 followers. Do you understand what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's so in that sense, that's a numbers game. But I'll answer all three of your questions because you're kind of in the very, very beginning stage, right, of
Hmm.
growing your
Hmm.
community.
Right.
So these are all things that right now, the only thing you should be doing is what you're already doing right now. Don't overthink it. Just keep doing what you're doing right now and do not give up. Because
Right.
that's the number one reason why people fail. Is that you know where you are right now, 2 months into it, you're still got the excitement going. Come talk to me in 6 months if you're still excited with 500 followers, right? And if you
Mhm.
cannot be at that moment, then you're gonna quit. And
That's
that's how most people fail. Okay, so just do not do that. Like just keep going, right? That's my number one advice to you. These other three advices are for the future, right? Number one, okay, how do I get your messaging out there? What is my message, and how do I get a message that's gonna connect people to you, right? And that was my
Mhm.
first question to you when I asked you like who are following you now. What I'm looking for right now, you're too early in the stage to know who your audience is. You get what I'm saying? Once you have like 10,000 followers, then it's going to become much more clear to you. Okay, these are the type of people that resonate with me. For example, introverts or people with ADHD, or busy people with moms, or you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like people who resonate with my message are the type of people that just want want me to give to them straight, right? No, no beating around the bush, no like trying to make you feel good.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you straight, right? Some people can't handle that, so I'm not for them. Do you know what I mean? But some people want that, so I'm for them, right? This is
Right.
what I meant by who's your audience, and you
Mhm.
don't know
Mhm.
that yet because you haven't put enough content out there yet, and you have not enough people. Because what's going to happen is the things that I say, you'd be surprised, right? Like if you look at the people in Night Owl Nation and the community, you know, like my content is the type of content where people are like they love it or they don't care at all. There's no in between,
In
really.
between,
You know,
right.
and that's why I have a smaller community, but it's strong.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
what I'm doing is I've purposely excluded all the people that are not me, and I've included all the people that are me, right? So
Yeah.
that's how the community has organically grown. So the the advice there over the next 2-3 years for you is to put your whole self out there. Meaning, oh, I need to sound like an influencer. Oh, I need to sound like a coach. I need to sound professional. Like throw all of that out the window. I need you to bring your whole self. Talk about how you really feel, without worrying about offending this person or excluding that, without worrying about anything. That when you do that for 2-3 years, that shit is it's contagious. So when people see that, and so what's happening with my content is my content is directly hitting those people, the right people, right? So in the beginning, it was
Mhm.
very, very slow. Other people I saw growing like this when I was going like this. and I felt like my content was better than theirs. But that was what was happening. They had a mediocre content that a lot of people like. They knew what hooks to use. They knew that, oh, use this 50 hashtags, you know what I mean? Like, oh, 10 hooks you can use, like those kind of things. They
Illegal
know,
websites.
yeah. Like then they know what people want.
Yeah,
So they're able to get them, but nobody really like connects with them deeply, right?
that's true.
But
That's
that's
true.
where the community happens. When somebody connects with you at a deeper personal level, not like, oh, what can I learn from her? What tip can I get from her? But oh, I trust Monica because she has the same values as me. She's like me in a sense that, for
Mhm.
example, like I hate trends. I hate following trends. I'm all about authenticity and honesty, right? So
Mhm.
people who connect with that, people who have that same value, is most likely gonna listen to me, rather than the marketer who's going like, okay, you gotta set up a funnel, and then you gotta convert them here, and you gotta do this, and you gotta upsell, you gotta downsell. Like,
Mhm.
that stuff is not really gonna resonate with them. But the stuff that I'm saying is gonna resonate with them because it's my personality and my value. So you have to get to the point where you're just putting all of yourself out there, where your audience starts saying, I want to hear what Monica has to say about this. Like, for example, if somebody says, oh, you should use 15 hashtags, and this guy's saying you should use 3 hashtags, right? Who's right?
Mhm.
I want to hear what Monica has to say about this. That's
Yeah,
where you get to. And how do you get there? Is by putting your whole self out there, because those are the people that are like, I resonate with Monica, so I want to hear what Monica has to say, you know?
right.
So that's,
And I think storytelling plays a very important role
yeah,
while building those connections.
exactly. So that's one advice, that
Yeah.
you might not be dealing with this right now, but you are going to
Mhm.
deal with it at some
But
point.
in the
Okay.
future.
The second is, how do you grow community, right? How do you grow? And this is another part that I want to say. There's a difference between followers or audience and a community. They're two, like, fans and audience. That's a
I,
one-way
yeah.
street, right? Community is a two-way street,
Mhm.
so it's a little bit
Right.
different. And I think this creates the community too, like a fan group or something like that, right? So like some
Mhm.
artists have fan groups, right? Like Taylor
Yeah.
Swift fan group, like, so that's a community too. But the thing that's tying them is, but that doesn't happen until you're huge. So we don't have
Mhm.
to worry about that. Now, how do you cultivate a community? How do you grow a community? Think about this, right? Every time you post, when you go into your analytics, it tells you how many followers you got through that post, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you check that on your
Yeah.
Instagram?
Sometimes. Yeah.
Okay. Check it every day. Well, because number one, you should check your analytics every day. Like, after you post, the next day you should look at the
Next.
analytics for
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
post, and then the next day you should
Okay.
look at the one, and you should never skip. And like, if you're just, this is what a lot of people do. They're like, oh, I'm gonna make a post. Boom, boom, oh, this is great. Oh, this is awesome. Post, boom, and then done. Right? Okay, maybe reply to some comments. Done. Right? No, that's where everybody ends. No, the real work begins here. The next day you have to go back, look at the analytics, and be like, okay, what went wrong here? Why did this post get less posts than this, even though it's the same topic? How come this had less
Mhm.
engagement but more shares? Why did this get
Mhm.
such many views and reach, but I didn't get followers from it? You need to dissect that, right? And then next post, you try something else. And next post, you try something. You keep doing that, right? Now, so you should be doing that anyway. But here's the thing. What else? My original point was, every post brings you followers, right? Even if it's one follower. Some posts you will bring you maybe 10 followers.
Mhm.
Some posts you maybe 100 followers, right? Every post brings you followers. So imagine you just post 10 times as much. You're just going to get 10 times more followers. Like, the content is what brings you followers, not your account.
Right.
Like, if you don't
Right.
post for a month, I get you. I guarantee you're not going to grow. Do you know what I mean? But if you
Yeah.
post 10 times a day for a month, I guarantee you're going to grow faster too. So sheer number of content is number one. Okay.
Mhm.
Number two, I mean, I guess this is more going into details. What I would advise you is, because you're a Night Owl Nation member, um, I have on the Monday master classes, there's one about engagement, and then what to do if you're under 1,000 followers, what to do if you're under 5,000 followers, and then what to do if you're over
Right. Yeah.
5,000 followers. Okay. So there's like a lot of specificity, that stuff that goes into that, right? The
Mhm.
hashtags and how to do engagement and all of that, right? But what I would say is you got to keep making content. You got to look at your analytics, improve so you can get better at it.
Better.
And then you
Yeah.
got to consistently do it forever. And then you will grow. That's just that's just numbers math. I guarantee if you do this for years and years and years and you don't grow, like that's impossible, because the human brain will, if you do something bad for 10 years, 10 years later, you will be really good at that thing, no matter how bad you are. Do you know what I mean? That's just how it becomes. Now, the third one, so that's just growing. But also, what I want to say is that doesn't mean shit. Because like this is how I know. Sometimes I'll go on Instagram live with somebody that I have like 200,000 followers, and then only about like 100 people, 80 people tune in, and they have 200,000 followers. Okay, but sometimes I'll
Mhm.
go live with somebody that has like 30,000 followers, and like 400 people will tune in. Do you understand what I mean? What that shows
Yeah.
me is that this
Exactly.
person has a strong community. This
Yeah.
person has a lot of followers. They just don't have a community. Do
Right.
you understand
Right.
what I mean? Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you build a stronger community? And the answer is like Gary Vee, right? Like Gary Vee has the strongest community. I mean, one of the strongest community, because he he interacts with people one on one on human level, where everybody's thinking about, oh, scale, scale, scale. How do I hire? Okay, how can I hire interns to manage social media, to do engagement? Like that's what everybody's thinking, scale, scale, scale. Gary Vee, like he replies and he comments from his account himself, right? Like that's the thing that most people don't understand, is that one-on-one kind of interactions is what builds the community. So when I see people that are like have huge communities and stuff like that, like in the beginning, what I saw them doing is they only have 5 people in their community, but they gave everything to that 5 people. And
Hmm.
then those 5 people, because you give everything to them, they go out and bring 5 more people.
Right.
And now you give everything to them, right? You and even when you get to 10,000, whoever you can give everything to, like what I'm doing with you right now, give
Yeah.
everything to. And this is how you grow a strong community.
Strong community. Yeah.
Yeah, not just a bunch of followers.
Number of
Right?
followers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
Yeah. So
very helpful.
those are the advices that I can give you coming up, ahead. Do you have any other
Right.
questions other than that?
Yeah. I have one pretty specific question for
Okay,
you.
good.
Like whatever you were doing, you're there is specificity of storytelling to your brand, right? So, was it always storytelling, or you started with a bunch of different
Me?
content pillars and you
Okay.
came down to this?
So this is a great time for me to actually explain this. I am not a good storyteller. Everybody tells me I am, but I am not a good storyteller. I'm not a great storyteller. I mean, I know some great like, you know, there are great storytellers out there, right? Like Pixar filmmakers, like The Rock, Obama. Like there are actual great. They're great in the delivery. Do you
Yeah.
understand what I mean? They
Right.
know how to speak. They know how to pause. They know how to do all
Mhm.
of that, right? They know how to say the right thing at the right time. All of those things. Like if it's a video animation, they know how to set the scene and how to close up, how to go, how to add the, like all of those things. That's a part of storytelling, right? I'm not good at that, right? But this is what I think. Okay, a human brain. If you think of the human as a computer, right? We
Mhm.
have input and output. Like your eyes and your ears are the input. Everything you see, everything you hear, it's all going into your brain data, right? And then your data process, your brain makes all the connections, and then output comes out, right? Like whatever you say, you write, you type, or whatever it is, right? So
Mhm.
input goes into your brain and then output comes out. Okay. So imagine like a computer, like input and output. What everybody thinks is that storytelling is the output. Like, how do I get this data out? That's the beauty of storytelling, is what people think, right? So that's why they come to Night Owl Nation and they're like, "Oh, Sun's gonna teach me how to tell stories. Like, I already have it here, everything. He's gonna teach me how to say it in a nicer way." So they come and they practice like using like fancy words because they think that's what good stories, right? Like, you know what I mean? But I don't
Yeah,
tell
I
stories
know
that
it.
way.
I know it.
Yeah, I don't tell stories that way at all, right? I tell story that like my English doesn't even make sense and like, but people still get it, right? So how does that happen? The reason why that happens is because what I'm going to tell you is the story is not output. It's actually it's actually the input and then what happens inside your brain.
Processing. Yeah.
And that's what's not happening. What For the last 3 months when I've been trying to coach people on storytelling, that's what I'm realizing. These people can't tell stories not because they don't know how to tell it, because they don't have stories in here. They haven't made any yet. They don't think. So every story that they're telling is just a regurgitation of other shit that they heard from other people. That's what they consider storytelling. So I guess what I'm going to say is this. My content is not storytelling, but what I'm doing is I'm taking all of the opinions and thoughts and ideas that I have in my head that's been calculating and recognizing in my head, and I'm just putting it out there. And sometimes it come out like very wrong, like it doesn't come out properly. It comes out, it's like rambling, but it comes out, and once it comes out, the reason why people get it is because everything that I process in my brain are all from truth. Whether it might be facts or not, that I don't know. But it is truth because I'm being completely raw when I'm doing it. You know what I mean? When I talk about the fact that like, when I'm sitting in a class and first day of school, everybody's like trying to say something, and in my head I'm thinking like, oh, okay, I'm gonna say this. Okay, I'm gonna say I like basketball. I'm gonna say this. Oh, but he said that, so now I can't say it anymore. Fuck. Like, well, okay, what am I gonna say now? Like going through that level of detail of processing. When I say things like that, right, that I process in my head and I say it, people feel it not like here, but here. Even though I didn't deliver it like how Tony Robbins would deliver it or Oprah would deliver it, but they still feel it here. Why? Because I just spoke something that's a truth that they've never heard. I just spoke something like this, right? I never thought of it that way, right? Like
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
spoke something that's a truth, and they can in their deep in their down in their gut, they feel that it's the truth. They know somehow, but they've never heard it before. And that's my content. But all of that is happening because all of this truth I have processed in my head, not because I know how to tell it. So
Mhm.
I think I said this before. When I go into a meeting or when I go into a sales meeting or a talk or whatever it is, or Sunday service, whatever it is, I know I can own that room. Like I know I can have these people on the palm of my hands through what I'm saying. And the way I do that is that I just first listen. Like I listen for what is the thing that's going to convert them, what is the thing that they're thinking, and then boom, I represent it back to them in a way they're like, whoa, right? But
Yeah.
I'm able to do that because of all the connection that I've already made previously. I have thousand stories in my brain, thousand analogies, thousand reference points in my head that I can use. When somebody starts talking about this in the meeting, I'm like, oh, that's just like this time, boom, 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 boom.
Mhm.
I save it. Oh, that's just like this time, boom, 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 boom. I save it. So I don't talk usually. And then at the end of the meeting, after everyone has talked, I present my case. I'm like, oh, this is what just happened. Like when I see it, you guys been talking about this. This is what just really happened. Okay. This is kind of like this. This is kind of like this. Blah, 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 blah. So once I explained that, people are like, whoa. Do you understand what I mean? But the reason why I was able to do that is because I had 1,000 ideas of story bank in my head already of those analogies and everything.
Mhm.
I hope I didn't lose you there. But yeah, so I guess in a short answer is storytelling is about, like, the way I make my content is about connecting the dots in your head
Mhm.
and really thinking about it, not telling it, because my
Right.
delivery sucks, and I think now that I say it, I'm sure everybody recognize, like everyone listening probably recognize, yeah, like Sun's delivery sucks. Like when I edit my videos, it's fucking crazy because like I'll be in the middle of a sentence and I just like stop and then I'll start another sentence. Like it's all over the place. But people say, "Oh, Sun, you're a great storyteller." So 2 years ago or a year ago, when people started telling, because I never heard that before, right? But when people started saying I'm a great storyteller, I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Like, do you know what I mean? Like, have you not
Right,
heard me
right.
talk?
But that's exactly what a personal brand is. What people are actually perceiving
Yeah,
and thinking about is
exactly.
it's exactly that.
That's what I realized. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep being you. Just put all of yourself out there, and then should be good to go.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Monica. Okay, so if you guys have any, I'm gonna bring on the next person, Gabby. But if you guys have any questions, if we have time at the end of the day, I'm gonna answer them. Just if you have any questions, put all your questions in the comments, and then I'll get to you guys. Hey, Gabby, how are you?
Hello. Awesome.
Cool.
So happy
So
to be
let's start
here.
with same thing: name, where you're from, and what you do. Yeah.
Okay, I'm Gabby. I'm from Venezuela, but I'm living in Chile. I'm a business English educator. I have a business program, a business English institute, and I'm going to ask about community, right? So, I started creating community 2 years ago. I created a free speaking club, which I, like promote on Instagram, on LinkedIn, especially on LinkedIn, because that's, like the professional um, platform.
Mhm.
And well, I've been hosting this speaking club every single Saturday for 2 years,
Okay.
right? We have a lot of people. There's a lot of people practicing. Because of the community in the speaking club, I decided to create a membership, right?
Okay.
Because
Oh, it was
they
free
were,
before?
sorry?
It was free before?
No, it is still free. I mean, that's like my freebie.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
it is still free. It is a
Got it.
free speaking club for two
Okay.
years. It's been free for 2 years. And because of the speaking club, I decided to create a membership, right? Because
Okay.
I noticed that they were practicing a lot, but they were, like repeating mistakes, challenges. And I was like,
Mhm.
okay, let's do something about it, something low cost. So I created this membership. And it's been a little difficult to bring people from the speaking club to the membership. Now, people who are in the membership are amazing. I mean, they've been here like for a year and a half because I started a membership like 5 or 6 months after creating the speaking club. So they've been here for a while and they are very committed and they practice a lot. And I mean, it's a beautiful community and I'm very proud of it. So I think my questions will be around how to convert people, like from the free club to the membership.
Got it. Okay.
Because I mean, they are there, and there's people who've been attending the free speaking club for a year, and they attend every single Saturday. But then it's like they know about the membership, but I don't know if they're not interested. The point is that the speaking club is just that. I mean, they just talk, right? I separate them in backup rooms, and they practice speaking. In the membership, of course, I get feedback, and we have workshops and all of that. So that would be one question. And the second will be with the membership community, how to keep them engaged, right? Like what else to do? I copied your small groups
You're
strategy.
you're asking
Um,
the same questions that I have right now. So it's gonna be interesting.
okay,
Here's the
okay,
thing, right? Okay. Okay. Let's answer. Let's go. Let's break this. But there's a lot here that I want to
okay.
talk about. Let's break this down. This is gonna be awesome. Because yeah, I know how to do all of that shit. I know how to sell. I know how to grow membership. Yes, like if selling and converting is the problem, I know how to do that. That's what I do. Why am I doing it for myself right now, right? It's because I'm not 100%, I don't 100% feel that my product is at the level of readiness that I need it to be. That's the reason why I'm not doing it, okay? And what does that mean, right? I think my product is valuable, and I think it's better than other memberships that are out there. But what I also think is that we're very close, we're not far away from getting it so that we can get a lot more engagement. So I don't want to like bring on 10,000 members in and then 9,900 of them just sit there and do nothing, because then it becomes harder for me to get them engaged. Like the easiest point to get them engaged is right when they sign up, because that's when their excitement is up. They just pay. They're like, what, what's next, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if they've been in there, they haven't gotten anything for 2 months. Now, if I try to do it, it's going to be much harder, right?
Yep.
Okay, so let's tackle the first one first. I have some questions for you. How many people are in your free? And then how many people converted from there to here? And then how many people converted who are not here and just directly to the membership?
Okay, so in the mail list,
and you can give me just percentages if you don't want to share the
no,
numbers.
yeah, I mean, in the list, I have like 1,200 people in my email list, right?
Okay.
On Saturdays, we're normally between 10 and 20, sometimes 17, sometimes 20, sometimes 12, sometimes 5, right? It depends on, like the time, right? In the membership, we're 15. Most of them are with me, like they've been with me for, like a year. And well, the community is bigger. We're like 30, but the other 15 are my students. So to my students, I give free access to the membership so they can practice, right? But paying members is like 15 or 12.
Out of how many people in the free one? How many people show up every Saturday on average?
20.
Oh, so most of them are in. Most of the people that are.
No, because people in the membership, they don't attend the free club.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Because they practice.
Used to?
I mean,
before, did they used to?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so they just come, once they convert over here, they don't go to the free one anymore.
Yeah. Because they have other, opportunities to practice, I suppose.
Yeah, I just feel like that, what I don't understand is one problem I see right now. I mean, this is not the advice, but one problem I see with a flaw is I don't really see the benefit of joining the membership. Because I feel like the practicing is the best part of the most crucial part. So without that, because like a lot of people think that learning, I have some secret to teach you that nobody else has. Like they think that that's the gold, but trust me, that's not the gold. The gold is the practice part, the fact that they can actually, you know what I mean? So yeah, I don't really see the benefit of paying when I can do it for free.
The point is that in the free club, I mean, they don't know till they join. Because in the free club, I mean, it's not a community. It's like random people join, random people attend, they say hi, they practice, they go, that's it. In the membership, there's a community. And we help each other, and we're all the time practicing and talking, and there is commitment and there's confidence, that there's community in the membership. But in the free club, there's no community.
I would get rid of the free club.
Yeah,
I would get rid of the free club if I were you.
But that is my lead magnet.
I would
That's
replace
like my
that with one free session to a membership. So your freebie from now on is attending one session of your membership session. And then once they're in, it's your job to try to get them to stay.
Of course.
And I think that will be a much better lead magnet than doing this. Because right now, there's two factors going on. Number one, from this person's perspective, I don't really see the value. Like that value is too much, way too much of a leap in their imagination that you're not gonna trust me unless it's like a $20,000 product. You're not gonna get them there, okay? Because they're not gonna invest that kind of time to, you know, to learn about. Like membership is like, oh, that sounds good. Boom, I'll sign up. That's nobody reads my sales pages, okay? At that price point. Now, that's why I think it's going to be hard for you to convert them over. Number two, and so how you solve that is number one, you got to give them a preview of that experience, what that's really like. So how do you do that? Get them in first, so they can feel it. Then it's actually easier to sell. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean that's what I would do first. But I don't think your problem is really like right now. I think your problem is engagement. I'll answer the second part first, because I'm dealing with that right now, right? So engagement problem really starts happening when you have scale. Like you cannot possibly have engagement problem when you have like 100 people, 1,000 people. Like you can't have engagement problem because at that moment you should be able to engage with all of them. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So what I would say is don't worry about engagement right now. As long as you know that your goal is to make every single one of those members, you know, give them value. That's all you need to know. You don't have to worry about them constantly engaging. Only because there's just some people who never engage. That doesn't mean, like for example, in our small groups, there are people who never ever say one thing on a group DM chat, but every small group meeting they show up and they did their assignment. They're involved. It's just because they're not an everyday DM chat type of person. You know what I mean? So some people are just not going to be like, some people are really committed and they show up, blah, 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 but they're just not going to engage in circle or something like that, right? That's just how it's going to be. You can't change that. So let's not even worry about that. Let's just assume that as long as you are being on top of shit, that the engagement will happen. What's happening right now for me is there are series of things that I'm not doing right now that could make the engagement better, just because I have like a backlog of stuff that I'm working on. But I'm actually going to put all of that to pause and work on. That's why I haven't really been online on Instagram last week, because one of the things that we're forming right now is what's called, okay, there's like so many things. Okay, even before we go there, you see how our community is $5 a month. So here's why every business is different and every answer is different, and I'm going to give you an answer that's right for you, not for me. Okay, for me, we're $5 a month because my mission is to scale mentorship, like to fix online education. It's not to build a great business where I can make a profit. You know what I mean? So we almost run like a nonprofit, because people know that I'm not making money, that we're all in this like kind of all volunteering, helping each other type of community. We have volunteers, right? So having small group leaders is tremendous, right? Because they can give one-on-one time to, and that's already different, right? So that was the first thing I implemented. But what I noticed is that new members joining up, there's a big gap from going from there to actually getting to fully immersed into the small groups and things like that. So the new thing we're implementing now is we're going to have an onboarding committee where we have volunteers who volunteered. Once a week, we're going to have a Zoom call at a set day and time where every new member that joined that week is going to attend that Zoom call. And this volunteer is going to walk them through, okay, here's a circle. This is what you want to do. You want to make sure you attend Sunday service and your small group meeting. When you join small group, like actually like orientation, right? Get them through, get them excited, boom, boom, on their way, handle them. So we're implementing that. Another thing we're implementing is we're implementing a storytelling contest, right? Where people like write their stories and we'll run. And every week we're going to have like, oh, these are the top 5 stories of this week. And so it's kind of like CrossFit games. Like CrossFit games aspires us to look like, or when you watch basketball, right? When you watch NBA, you know that you can never do that, but you can replicate a version of that in my high school gym, right? So something like that, something that they can look forward to and replicate in their own, right? So I'm applying all these psychological things, and every week we're trying different things, and so we're doing different things to do that. Now, That's the hard part, engagement. That's the part that I don't know anyone's figured out yet. I've gone to members that have 30,000, 40,000 members, and engagement is non-existent. Okay.
Okay.
So this is that's my cancer that I'm curing.
Okay.
So the reason why I can't answer that right now is because you're asking me like, oh, can you give me an answer to how to cure cancer? I'm working on it, but I can tell you what the
Okay.
problems are, what I'm doing right now to work on it, but I can't give you the answer yet because I haven't cured it yet. Okay.
Okay.
Now let's go back to the first part, right? How to convert them. Like, I think that's one thing. But another big thing is you should be looking at is I want you to don't look at business as business, because a lot of people look at businesses as like, okay, it's conversion, products,
Mhm.
marketing, advertising. They compartmentalize. Like, let's go high level a little bit and let's look at the businesses. Like, what are you doing in general for the world, right? And I remember like you work with people who are like not native English speakers, who feel like their English is not professional enough for the workplace, right? Like whether they're a
Mhm.
business owner or like, so that's kind of their struggle, right? Like,
Yep.
it's like my English is not professional enough, So I feel like when you look at that, I feel like there's kind of a opportunity for partnerships, because there are already a lot of English teachers and English fluency coaches and stuff like that out there, but they're not targeting people specifically for business. So if you can like carve out a niche for that and like really learn everything about that area of expertise that even other fluency coaches don't know about, because you're just really deep in that world, like the corporate type of English world, then what you can do is you can start reaching out to these people. You should partner with them, go on their podcast, like when you launch a program, do an interview with them. I actually think that's the fastest way for you to grow your business, fastest way for you to get your word out there.
Got it.
Do you know what I mean?
Got
Not
it.
social media, putting out content. You know what I mean?
Got it.
I mean, you
Got
should
it.
still put out content, by the way, because what happens is there's attention and then
Mhm.
there's retention, right?
Yep.
So when you go on somebody's podcast, or when you go on when a video goes viral, when that attention point, the new eyeballs we grab, that's attention, right? That's
Yep.
what I want you to do by going out there, going on podcasts and blah, 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 right? So you get the eyeballs. But the reason why you make content consistently is for retention. Because once they find you, you got to give them a home to go to, whether it's an email newsletter or whatever it is, right?
Mhm.
And then you got to constantly stay in touch with them and keep nurturing them, right? So, yeah, so if you keep making the content in your world, I think it's going to take a really long time for you to grow. But if you kind of rethinking and say, okay, my content is just to maintain my existing followers.
Mhm.
How I'm going to get my new followers is by going on Hadar's podcast, right? Or,
Yeah.
those kind of things. That's how I'm going to get the new followers. And then you maintain them through there, right?
Yep. Yep. Will do.
Because that's right now with 1,000, like 1,000 community of 1,000 people, like even for what I'm doing right now, right? It's hard to really accurately assess because the numbers are just not, the scale is not there, that every pattern we recognize and everything we see is not really going to be accurate. Like we
Mhm.
need more data. Do you know what I mean? So right now, I just feel like your number one focus more than this. I mean, of course, you should be working on this, but it's also promoting yourself. Because the more people you have, the more you're going to learn how to make this better.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Yep.
Is that
Yep.
it, or
Yep.
you have something else? You have more questions?
No. I
You
mean,
have some
I
time.
was just trying to, like figure out what to do, for, like keep people, interested and all of that. I created these small groups that you did in our membership. I replicated in ours. But I suppose that because it's much less people, it is harder to keep them working. You see, it's like, I don't know, They were in small groups, but then leaders couldn't, like create this engagement. So I don't know.
Okay, let me tell you this, because there's something you don't see, which is our small group leadership meetings, right? So you don't know what our small group leaders go through. Like,
Okay.
if any of you guys who are in Night Owl Nation that are trying to create something like what I'm doing, you should definitely become a small group leader, because then you'll get an inside look of what's going on behind the scene, because there's a lot that you don't see. Okay. So
Got it.
here's what I'm going to say about building community, building business, leadership. Because what the small group leaders get from me is they get leadership training. So the thing about leadership, growing a community, steering a ship with 100,000 people in it, right? Slowly, like those kind of things, is the hardest thing in the world, right? Like, entrepreneurs who are leading teams and leading big organizations is the hardest job in the world. I don't give a fuck if you're the smartest rocket scientist in the world, or if you're the smartest, biggest brain surgeon in the world. You're nothing compared to somebody who's running a large organization, because the hardest thing in the world are humans. You know why? Because when it comes to science, math, and all science, blah, 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 it's ones and zeros. It's black and white. Everything is clear. There's a clear answer. When you run a hypothesis, you think there's going to be an answer. It's going to be the same answer every time. That's easy. Okay? What's hard is, if I do it like that with this person, it works. But if I do it like that with this other person, it doesn't work. When I do it with 10 people, it works. But when I do it with 100 people, it doesn't. Trying to figure all of that out, and it works like this in this company, but when I go to this company, it doesn't work. With this brand, when I work with this client, it works. When I work with it, that is the hardest part about running a business. Why? It's because it's constant 24/7, 100 times a day problem solving. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
that's what you don't see right now. We have tons of problems.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
We have people just join a small group, excited first week, and the next 3 weeks just go ghosting. How do we deal with, like, every week we're learning something new, and we try it this way. Oh, okay, let's try this. Let's try to get them. So we set up one level up, of course. So the previous group leaders, we put them as community coordinators. So when new small group leaders have questions, they can go to them, right? So let's set up a meeting with all three. Okay, if they don't show up, then I get involved for now, because we're not at the scale yet. So here's what I mean. Once we're at 10,000 members, there's no way I can get involved.
Yes.
But right now, with 800 people, I can get involved. So I'm going to get involved. Why? Because by me getting involved, I can roll up my sleeve, go in there, figure out with boots on the ground, and see what's going on, and really fix the problem. Like, really see what the root of the problem is. Then I can find the solution that I can scale in the future, because I know what the root of the problem is, right? And that's kind of what I'm doing, curing cancer.
Got it.
But yeah, I think this is the hardest part of running a business: getting people to do the things that they don't want to do.
But you know they need to, right?
Yeah, it's because, you know why? Okay, this is so meta, but here's why. We think that what people want is success. Like, so what we do is we try to incentivize them with success, but people don't want success. They just want to avoid failure. That's a huge difference, right? So if I tell them, okay, I'm going to give you this, so then in a year later, you're going to have success, they're like, okay, I'll get to it when I get to it. That means never.
I agree.
Oh, just join small group. I'll get to it when I get to it. But if their lawn is on fire and I say, okay, here's water that's going to put out there, they'll do it right away. So I need to somehow use psychology to figure out, okay, how can I trigger this person to take that action right away? Because I definitely can't motivate them. I definitely can't inspire them that way. So what can I do? I keep poking right now, trying to figure out. Here's the crazy thing. Right now, what I'm studying more than anything else is psychology. I'm not studying storytelling. I'm not studying marketing. I'm not studying entrepreneurs. I'm not studying any of that shit. The only thing I'm studying right now is psychology, because I think that's what's missing right now.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
I talk too much. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's great. That's great. Pedagogy. That's amazing too. Yeah, great.
Awesome. Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Awesome.
I'll keep it posted,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you
you
so
so
much
much.
for sharing your story,
Me
and I
too.
keep us updated.
Appreciate it. Absolutely. Thank you.
Cheers. Okay, if you guys have, let me see if anyone has questions. I don't think I see any. In the membership, we create a plan and we have feedback of Gabby to improve. Yeah. Such great ideas. Love challenge competition. Yeah. Attention is greater than retention. Okay. I think that's it for now. That was kind of interesting because I think like every time I come on this podcast, I come on thinking like I meditate, I try to clear my mind, and I try to come with no intention, no opinions whatsoever, right? Like I'm mainly trying to come listen, but somehow like I was very present, but I feel like that led to me kind of rambling because I was like really in the moment. But I think I got some good stuff out of there, so I'll watch it and receive. But thank you for joining us. I'll see you guys again next Friday. Thank you. Cheers. Bye.